So, is this the original doorway?
It's not. This is the whole project is a historical renovation preservation. The only thing that trumps that is ADA compliance. And so what we had before and throughout the whole tavern is a whole bunch of non-ADA compliant issues that all had to be addressed. And so the spirit of what was, we've tried to preserve. So all the wood that was in the door was reclaimed and reused.
You had a story about using the same key. Were they able to retain the same key that your father used to open the restaurant?
We are not, because it's not going to work, but we did manage to keep it. And there's that door has been preserved, and it is in the oddest place imaginable, and I can't wait to tell you about it when we get there.
Okay. So over here, we have this paneling is still the same.
Right.
And what's the origin of this paneling?
From my understanding, my father reclaimed that paneling from a historic church that was being scheduled for demolition.
Yeah.
And he reclaimed that paneling, brought it here in sections and put it up, and he just loved it. And so there was no electrical behind the wall, there was no infrastructure of any kind, and so they didn't need to take it down.
So Brian, I noticed that you built the renovation right around the bar. The bar has stayed here.
We never wanted to move the bar, and at all costs we didn't want to move the bar. I guess that would make it feel like, everything had changed if we moved the bar. So the bar hasn't been unbolted from the floor, it never moved an inch. We didn't even take the planks off. And so the bar is going to be cleaned and restained and refurbished in place.
And this is the original bar from your grandfather's business downtown, the Tip Top Bar.
Yeah, it's over 90 years old, and it's every time I stand behind it, I get this amazing sense of family, because my grandfather made a career behind that bar, and my dad, my uncle, all my siblings, even my sister. And so now I get to do it.
Remember how much it weighed?
No.
When they moved it? I can imagine that would be quite an engineering.
So I don't know how they got it.
Another thing that I'm not knowing, I don't think it's as precious as the bar, but has stayed through renovation, is
The dollar
what
bill.
we're looking at, the dollar bills and the playing cards up above us.
That's right.
What are those and how do they get up there?
So it's a Budweiser magician.
The Budweiser magician.
They have an official magician, or they used to
Does
play
he come in a
this.
bottle?
He does not come in a bottle.
Oh, so he's a real person.
He's a real person, and he comes, and that is one of his classic tricks. He fans a deck of cards in front of you, you draw it out, he doesn't get to see it, you write your name on it, you give him the card, you put the card back in the deck, you get to shuffle it, you wrap a dollar bill around it, he puts a rubber band around the whole deck and a thumbtack facing up, and the cards are facing down. He throws the whole thing at the ceiling, and that's what's
Your card.
your card with your signature on it and the dollar.
And your dollar.
Yep.
I noticed that some things are changed about this back entrance and some things are the same. We've got the mirror here, the paneling from the old bar. Where's my telephone booth?
So it's interesting you mentioned the telephone booth. It gets asked about a lot. So we streamlined everything.
Yes.
So the telephone booth that was inside that wall there is now going to be over there. And it's going to be, yes, I kept it. And it's going to be incorporated. We're going to put one of the cash registers inside of it. And so it's going to be over there by that new front entrance. That's where it's going to be. So we wanted to make sure we used it. The best use of it we could find, multi-purpose use, we can put the register in.
And so is this still going to be the downstairs office?
Still going to be the downstairs office. We saved the door. We saved, if we could save it, we did. And so the door was saved. All that was saved.
And this door, tell me about this door.
There's really nothing I can tell you about the door except people started putting stickers on it. And I got a lot of emails about the door. A lot of people were afraid I was going to change out the door, and people wanted to buy the door if I was getting rid of it. And so,
Is this door frame?
I think it came from the same place that the paneling came from. It has the same
The
detail,
church? Yeah.
and I think it's part of that same church I was told that all this stuff came from.
What was the original use of this building?
This wasn't. This one section right here was the original Manuels tavern, just here, just
Yes.
this room, and it was a deli at one point.
Okay.
It was Harry's Delicatessen.
All right.
And when my father worked on a draft truck, he delivered beer here, and he made mention to the owner about acquiring it. And the man said, if you want to buy it, I'm willing to sell.
Okay, and then your father was the one that put the paneling and made it feel more like an English pub.
Right, because apparently it was just fluorescent tubes in here, and it was just generic and very bland.
Yeah. I have to show them. I think this is from.
Now, to be fair, Ruth, that was in the attic, so don't.
I think this is from the Cold War. So, I think the big story about this room is the wall.
Wall, yes.
And this is not a movable wall. This is a permanent wall.
This is it. So this is where Manuels ends now. So this is what we refer to, if you're familiar, as the first level. We had all those series of ramps, and this was the first business down from the restrooms.
This is where a lot of meetings took place, and there was also a bar here.
Right. This is where we had those big tables that sat groups of 10.
Yeah.
We had the Paul Hill Memorial on the wall.
Yes.
And so forth. But there was a railing here.
Okay.
And then there was seating
Down
the next
below.
two levels.
Okay.
And we've lost that because this is now where the tavern ends.
Okay.
So all that memorabilia that was down there is going to move up into all this wall.
All right.
Where I didn't have wall space before.
Okay. So tell me about this door.
So that was the emergency exit for the elevated Eagle's Nest.
Okay.
And so when we talk to the historical preservation individuals that come out and make sure that we're in compliance, I had asked for a window to go there because you can't get up to it. You can't use it as an exit anymore. They wouldn't allow me to put a window there because there was a door there. So I asked could I put a door there that had a window, and they said it had to be a historical door. So that's the old front door of the tavern.
That's the old front door of the tavern.
The old front door from North Avenue. I mean from North Highland, that's the door. So we put that there, we're going to frame that in, get it all bricked in. It won't work or anything, but it'll achieve us having a window.
Interesting.
So-
And that's the door where your grandfather's key.
Yep, that's the same door with the key that, you can
Open
stick
the
a bobby
tavern
pin
for
in and
60
would have
years.
opened the door, yeah.
Before we start talking about the kitchen and the menu and everything, I noticed that you have exposed some historic wallpaper up here in the corner.
That's right.
Like, it looks like a 1960s Oriental pattern. Do you have any idea what used to be here?
What I've been told is that this was Betty Williams' beauty shop, beauty supply. This is where, I don't know, this was Gossip Central, I guess, for the Virginia Highlands.
Okay.
So,
And I know that you have chickens up above, or will bring them back sometime in the fall.
we will. We're going to bring them back in the fall when it's the weather's a little more conducive to bringing them back, so I don't shock them in the heat.
Right.
And but the original coop that was up there didn't meet any. I found this interesting. It was built to code, but nobody would look at it, or nobody was willing to look at it, and architecturally stamped some drawings approving it.
Yeah.
So we took it down. It just came down.
Okay.
And then a friend of ours is a business friend of ours, Jake's Ice Cream, who also owns a farm.
Yes.
Jake purchased our old freezer and
Okay.
put it to use, and he was able to expand his business because of our old freezer, which we were going to have to throw away.
All right.
And he purchased our chicken coop as well to take to his farm in College Park because he uses eggs and does that himself. And so he needed the chicken coop, so he took the chicken coop. And so now we're going to have a social media contest for a bunch of young entrepreneur architects to hopefully put their name on a stamped set of drawings for the chicken coop on the roof.
Is there any other changes to the menu that we can expect?
I purposely am not changing the menu nor the menu pricing. I don't want anybody to come in here and go, see, Manuels is changing, they got all this new fancy stuff and they jacked their prices up. So nothing's changing on the menu. Nothing's changing price-wise for months and months and months and